But then I've also seen Letnick and others talk about this idea of, well, maybe there's external revenue that we can drive and be able to use that. So like, how are you guys maybe from a framework standpoint thinking about, okay, what are the ways that we could go buy more Bitcoin?
Well, I think that Senator Lemus has really an interesting idea with the Bitcoin Act of 2025, which I know has taken the community by storm. But here, what you would do is you'd revalue the gold certificates that we currently have at Treasury. Most of which are valued, I think, around like $43 an ounce, which is,
a lot lower than what it's really worth.
Correct. Yeah. So now we're sitting at what, $3,100 an ounce, being the price of gold. And if you took that value, what you could do is use that extra funding in order to buy more Bitcoin that could be used for the reserve. But that's just one idea. And, that's currently circulating its way through Capitol Hill, and we'll see how many co-sponsors she can get and how she can pull her colleagues on board. But we're looking at many creative ways, whether it be from, tariffs, whether it be from something else. I mean, there's literally countless ways in which you can do this. And, I'll defer to, some of our members inside of the interagency working group to see what ideas they come up with inside of their own shops. But we'll look at everything. Everything's on the table, and like we've said, we want as much as we can get. So we're going to make sure that no stone is unturned as we start fleshing out some of these processes.
Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have the hottest crypto news, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss a single second of this. So check this out. The crypto market is buzzing. Prices are teasing breakouts, but something's holding you back. Maybe it's the fear of missing the next big move, or worse, getting caught in a trap that you didn't see coming. The problem, the markets are tricky, and without the right info, you're just guessing. But here's the good news. Today, I'm breaking down 3 massive stories that could change how you play this game. Stories that can give you clarity and confidence to make smarter moves. We're talking XRP's next big upswing, a sneaky banking issue that's tripping up crypto, and a wild rumor about Trump's next crypto project. These aren't just headlines, these are your edge. So stick with me because the clock's ticking and the market doesn't wait. Oh, and here is a little bonus for you. Stick with me until the end and I'll give you an exclusive sneak peek into Altcoin Pro University, the thriving crypto community that's helping thousands level up their game right now. Plus, we will be jumping over to X to find out all the breaking news in the financial markets today. We're going to be jumping over to CoinGlass and checking out some specific data points for XRP. And at the end of the video, we are also going to be checking in the charts for XRP to find out the next resistance and support level. We'll also check in on the short-term and long-term momentum waves for XRP. And of course, we'll jump into these headlines of XRP upswing not far off as open interest sways. Crypto's debanking problem persists, and Trump's next crypto play. But first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and check out the overall health of the crypto market today. The market cap is coming in at $2.6 trillion, down 1.22%. This is an important level as the support level turned resistance, which our last time hitting here was April 9th, 2025. Now coming back into that level for a second time. We just retapped that right on April 13th. And now, of course, there on April 15th, we need to see a rebound here, or we could potentially continue our slide down. And if we zoom out, if this was unfortunately a top here at 2.7 trillion, and we potentially be coming down and creating a new lower low, our next support is at $2.26 trillion. And you can see since the all-time high, we've had continuous lower highs all the way since. Fear and Greed Index coming in at 31. Yesterday was a 29. Last week was a 19. Altcoin Season Index at 15, indicating it is still Bitcoin season. Bitcoin dominance coming in at 62.9%. And checking out the Bitcoin ETF tracker, our first report of the week has come in only down $516,000, which was a very small outflow yesterday. When you zoom out and you look at the volume, as volume flows into the ETFs, price does significantly increase and vice versa. That's why we keep a very close track of this Bitcoin ETF tracker. Once we see some volume coming in through the ETFs, institutional buying, price will also finally follow. Top 5 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin number 1 at 1.6 trillion. Ethereum number 2 at 193 billion. Tether number 3 at 144 billion. XRP number 4 at 123 billion. Binance BNB at 83 billion. And Solana at 65 billion. Heading over to X to find out what's happening right now. XRP open interest is close to a 1-year low, and we will cover that more in detail in that article. Goldman Sachs GS says stocks are due for a contrarian bounce in the next 3 months. Just in, OpenAI is building its own social network to rival Elon Musk's X, Verge reports. Now, this is interesting. I wonder how that's going to play out as far as OpenAI creating a new Twitter or whatnot. Right now, the #1 news app in the world is X. Will OpenAI have the power to create mindshare to move people over to their app? Only time will tell, but it'll be interesting to follow. America's rich are scrambling to open Swiss bank accounts, per the Telegraph, trying to avoid the craziness that's going on in the United States. Breaking, the number of new single-family homes for sale has surged to 500,000 in February, the highest since November. The number of new homes on the market has more than tripled over the last 13 years, from a low of 142,000, excluding the 2006 housing bubble, that is. The largest supply of new homes in history. Meanwhile, new single-family homes for sale in the South fell 8,000 to 296,000, near an all-time high. This is higher than 291,000 seen in 2006, a year before the housing market crash began. Are price cuts coming to the housing market? Now, as many of you guys know, I am a realtor in Southern California, and prices have started to soften a little bit. The only problem really that's holding back the market right now is the interest rates. It's hard to fathom buying a house when your buying power is so crappy. So houses will continue to come on the market. They will continue to sit on market, days on market. Then people will have to reduce the prices of their home. And at the same time, what is happening is people are trying to sell their house because of the fact that they can't afford to keep their house. As you know, we did a report a while ago that showed that people are far behind on their mortgage payments right now. So every one of us that's wondering, why isn't Bitcoin pumping? Why isn't XRP to the moon yet? Well, unfortunately, all of the retail buyers' liquidity has dried up. So it makes it hard for institutional investors to want to pump the market. Because remember, institutions, big market makers, love to pump the market to new all-time highs so people get the FOMO so they can buy it. But right now, if they were to pump the market to all-time highs, unfortunately, retail buyers don't have the money to buy the push to the upside. So they won't FOMO in regardless. They don't have money to FOMO in with. So how will the United States, how will the world at large help the normal person, retail investors, make more money? Because that's really the issue. Will there be stimulus checks? Only time will tell, but we're going to continue to monitor that. As you know, Ripple made the biggest splash in the news recently by acquiring Hidden Road. And Hidden Road is an unbelievably interesting deal because if Ripple pulls off strong integration between HR, Hidden Road, and the XRP ledger, then honestly, I can't see how XRPL doesn't eclipse in value almost all other networks. Pretty great position for Flare to be in, as we can enable many additional use cases for XRP, adding to its utility. And if you're not aware, Hugo Philon is actually the co-founder of Flare Networks, the CEO of Flare Labs. And if you remember, they were big behind XRP. They did a Flare airdrop recently. Many in the XRP army will be holding Flare tokens. And as you saw in the intro, Justin, Trump administration says the U.S. may buy Bitcoin using tariff revenue. So this is interesting play here, because do we want the tariffs to, do we want to just make trade deals, or do we want to actually have the tariffs on other countries? That's really the big question, because if we are putting these heavy tariffs on other countries to negotiate a zero for zero, money for money, win-win situation on trade, then we won't keep tariffs in place. Or is Trump literally trying to collect money from the world by placing these tariffs, leaving them in place, collecting debt from other countries? Essentially, that's the way he's looking at it, right? He continues to say they owe us money, these other countries, and he wants to collect that through tariffs. So this whole tariff play has been very interesting to watch play out. Very scary, obviously, for the everyday investor watching the markets fluctuate up and down, creating tons of uncertainty. Trump obviously has a lot more insider information because he's seen the numbers in the government that we have not seen. So we'll continue to watch this play out over time. Before jumping into the articles, I do want to show you the XRP spot inflow, outflow. So these are spot, these are going to exchanges, people bringing money onto exchanges. And if we zoom in here to our current date, right? So we have the latest number here, was from April 14th. The net flow was minus 10 million. Now that's a good thing. We want net flows out, right? So that means people are buying XRP and taking it off exchanges. So our largest spike to the upside of inflow, meaning people wanting to sell XRP, happened most recently, March 1st. That was $103 million inflow. The very next day, though, 152 people went on a buying spree right here because of this dip, right? We saw the spike in price, the dip happened, people bought, took it off the markets. We have had a couple of swings to the upside with net inflows. People are taking profits on these levels, but mainly, as you can see, lots of outflows from exchanges. So let's take a look at this potential upswing for XRP.
We just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers.
As of recently, trading volume has been falling for XRP, but the price has continued to be resilient. The recent price movements of the coin has been hard to forecast. XRP has established lower highs and lower lows over the last day, leaving everyone wondering which way it will go next. Trading volume has dropped by 12% over the past 24 hours to 3.4 billion from a high of more than 4 billion. Open interest has also dropped over 5%, with just 1.45 billion XRP valued at 3 billion locked in futures markets. In spite of these declining trends in trading activity, XRP's price has not imploded. Technical indicators suggest a neutral relative strength index of 49, which means selling pressure has dissipated. The Bollinger Bands indicator indicates lower price volatility. Weekly performance depicts optimism, and we've been talking about this when we look at the charts. The higher timeframes are still looking bullish, even though we've had these pullbacks. If one looks at the larger time frame, the bigger picture is more optimistic. XRP has risen by 13% last week compared to the several other cryptocurrencies. According to CoinShares' latest digital asset report, only top altcoin XRP had investment inflows, while both Bitcoin and Ethereum had outflows. This interesting trend is indicative of institutional investor trust in XRP when all other top cryptocurrencies are experiencing sell pressure. Corporate developments might fuel the future growth. Ripple Labs' new business developments may influence the price of XRP in the upcoming weeks. The company has acquired Hidden Road, a leading prime brokerage company, which has been the first foray into traditional financial markets. According to the reports, both XRP and RLUSD have roles to play in this development, and this conventional finance adoption may increase the price and usage of XRP if the company's strategy works out. The future of the cryptocurrency appears to be linked to both global market trends and Ripple's business growth. Although immediate price movements are unstable with contradictory signs from marketing indicators, corporate growth and institutional interest offer growth catalysts. Meanwhile, market technicians are keeping a close eye on major technical levels and trading trends. But the combination of reduced volatility and continued weekly gains indicates XRP might be setting the stage for a more meaningful price move in the near term. And we will definitely dive deeper into that when we check out our XRP charts. On the weekly chart, we can see our short-term momentum has reset to zero, ready to launch to the upside, and our long-term momentum indicator still indicating bullishness on the weekly. We'll dive much deeper. Crypto's debanking problem persists despite new regulations. Legislative efforts in the United States and Australia are attempting to remove these barriers for crypto industry. In the former, legislatures repealed guidelines to make it difficult for banks to custody crypto assets, as well as those stating that crypto carried reputational risk for banks. In the letter, the Labor Party has introduced a bill to create a legal framework for crypto, giving banks the clarity that they need to interact with crypto industry. The Digital Chamber putting out a post, debanking not only hinders U.S. innovation, but furthers a lack of trust between the crypto industry and the current U.S. banking system. Rebuilding trust between the two is pertinent to advancing American technology and global competitiveness. U.S. crypto execs are still saying debanking is happening. The crypto industry has long decried Operation Choke Point 2.0, its nickname for a suite of policies that claim constrained the crypto industry from growing under the administration of Joe Biden. Among these were measures making it more difficult for crypto firms to access banking services. Under the new Trump administration, the OCC, or the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, has already said banks can offer crypto-related services like custody, stablecoin reserves, and blockchain participation. Caitlin Long, the founder of Custodia Bank, said the nonpartisan board of governors of the Federal Reserve is still controlled by Democrats, alluding to Democrats' more skeptical stance on crypto. Long claimed that there are 2 crypto-friendly banks under examination by the Fed right now, and the army of examiners was sent into these banks, including the examiners from Washington, a literal army just smothering the banks. Canada is unlikely to relieve their crypto firms, and Canada debanking remains a serious and ongoing challenge for the Canadian crypto industry. While some firms have successfully established relationships with banking partners, many continue to face account closures or denials with little explanation. And we know that the Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong was a victim of debanking. In one of the posts he recently had on X, he said 100% the right call, responding to Elon Musk, the CFPB, rest in peace. He went on to say the CFPB is unconstitutional on the face of it, and even if it wasn't, it should be deleted, as we already have the DOJ to prosecute fraud and many other financial service regulators. It's an activist organization that has done numerous harm to this country. And President Trump coming out with a Monopoly-style game. The game would add to Trump's crypto ventures, which include a meme coin, NFT collections, and DeFi project, World Liberty Financial. The project, set to launch in April, will resemble Monopoly Go, a mobile game where players travel around a board and earn for constructing, building a digital city, according to the report. Bill Zanker, a member of Trump's circle and part of the team that helped launch Trump's meme coin and various NFT collections, is behind the game. Fortune cited the source as saying a spokesperson for Zanker denied any similarity to Monopoly, while confirming that Zanker is working on a game, according to the report. Monopoly, which is owned by Hasbro, a company that acquired Parker Brothers, its original publisher, in '91. Zanker reached out to Hasbro in 2024 to seek a license for the Trump-branded Monopoly game, according to sources who requested anonymity due to the ongoing nature of the business dealing. Trump's crypto ventures signal a significant change in his perspective regarding the crypto space. In 2021, Trump called Bitcoin a scam against the dollar and said the token was based on thin air. Since then, he has pivoted to crypto voters and signed an executive order to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the US. Web3 gaming is struggling amid macroeconomic turmoil, and Trump's crypto game may have trouble gaining traction. According to an April 10th report from DApp Radar, daily active users on Web3 games dipped 6% in the first quarter of 2025, while investments in the sector dropped 71% quarter over quarter to 91 million. Heading over to TradingView to take a look at XRP. As we can see, we are using our weekly spider lines indicators. This indicator can be used by going to your tools, getting a ray, and drawing from one point during the drop of 2018 using the pivot point of April of 2021, which came on the week of April 12th. And then that will extend into the future. And that's what we are using for our current support and resistance. And they have been really straightforward and really easy to use. We also have our 50, 30, and 10 exponential moving averages. We have our shaft trend cycle and our Wolfpack indicator for long-term momentum. So as we can see, the last 2 weeks, we have run into resistance here at the $2.24 level. That also coincides now with the 10 exponential moving average. We found support at the lower level here at $1.91, the bodies of the candles. Wicks have been deeper. Last week's wick dipped down into the 50 exponential moving average on the weekly chart. Our shaft trend cycle, short-term momentum, has reset to 0, and it's actually been there for quite some time, ready to make a move to the upside. Last time the shaft trend cycle reset to 0 was in October, the last week. Then it started making its move up the first week of November, and it absolutely rode that to the moon. We will know in 5 days and 4 hours if this week's candle closes above $2.23. We will then more than likely see a move up in our shaft trend cycle, indicating momentum starting to rise. If we have another dip down into this $1.90 range, bouncing off of the 30 exponential moving average again on the weekly charts, then we may remain in this bearish sentiment. And speaking of bearish sentiment, when we take a look here on the daily charts, our short-term shaft trend cycle has gotten to the 100 level and price action moved to the upside. However, our long-term momentum indicator, the Wolfpack, still in the red. and it's been in the red under the zero line since February 4th, 2025. And that's why we haven't seen a huge surge. We've actually seen continuous lower highs over the period since it's dropped below the zero line. When we see here November 9th, when it broke above the zero line, that's when we had our movement to the upside. Positive news here on the daily charts. We are starting to make our way back up to the zero line. Last time we hit this level was March 25th and unfortunately rejected off that. That's when we rejected at the $2.50 level, and also a new trend line that has developed that we will need to break back above, that's acting as resistance, which was support for us during the late December, early January move to the upside. During this move, we will also see this long-term momentum wave was still in the green. Dropping down to the 12-hour charts, we can see we did just breach the zero line here. So we are showing bullish momentum on the shorter time frame of the 12-hour. Unfortunately, we did break into this $2.23 resistance, and it's starting to make a turn to the downside. And our shaft trend cycle short-term momentum has completed its cycle to the top and will need to reset back to the bottom. Good news is, if this resets down to zero, price continues to trade sideways or consolidate while we remain in the green, the next leg up to the short-term momentum wave will be very positive. So once we come back down, reset here, and make that move up here, we're still in the green. We're going to be looking very bullish. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, we can see we're riding in the green territory here. We have the reset of the trend cycle, like I was telling you on that higher time frame of the 12-hour, and we've consolidated across, which is very, very positive for us. Now, as this starts to rise to the upside and we maintain the green level above the zero line, we are starting to see a little bit of optimism here for XRP in the smaller time frames. Also important to keep in mind this week, the most important financial news that's happening, the red folder news, will come out tomorrow, which is the core retail sales. And then, of course, Jerome Powell will be speaking tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., so expect volatility in the market on Wednesday. Then we also have on Thursday, the unemployment claims come out. If those are good news and good numbers, that's very positive for us because that will help Bitcoin rebound. Hey, bull runners, are you feeling FOMO about this bull run without the right financial support? We're here to change that. We're not just about funding, we're about growing your business together. Whether you're investing in crypto, kicking off a new startup, managing your existing business, or looking to expand, we have personalized funding that meets your exact needs. Imagine starting your business or getting capital to invest $100,000 to $250,000 at 0% interest. That's not a dream, it's what we do. We've helped countless entrepreneurs like you with 0% interest funding without needing personal funds, income verification, or collateral. With just a 680 credit score, you qualify. We understand that your business can't wait, so take advantage of our quick funding approach. We look beyond the credit score with inclusive approval process that sees the big picture of your business or investment potential. Our flexible repayments are tailored to match your business cycles, ensuring you can manage repayments without strain. With access to our extensive lending network of over 5,000 options, we're committed to finding the perfect match for your business or investing needs. Plus, you'll have our dedicated team by your side, guiding you through every step of the funding journey. Whether it's buying crypto, hiring new employees, or launching a new product, we're committed to your success. Click the link to connect with our expert advisors and secure your business's future now.